мы отправляемся на Сейшелы в путешествие. Это у нас такой как бы премедовый месяц, потому что свадьба у нас будет в октябре, а уже потом у меня не останется никаких отпускных дней. Поэтому мы называем этот отпуск, который уже мы запланировали заранее, таким премедовым месяцем. Вот, очень-очень looking forward. Нетерпение. Я вся в нетерпении. Сейчас мы сидим и пытаемся пробраться в лаунж. Вот, а потом уже будем двигаться к бордингу. На Маке острове. Сейчас приехали перебираться на другой остров. Первые 3 дня мы будем на пролине. Сейчас покупаем билеты на вот, я думаю, вот на этот вот ферри. И еще где-то час, наверное, нам ехать.
To show you the best of what the beautiful islands of Seychelles have to offer. Cat Coco wishes you a very pleasant trip. Cat Coco, cruise through.
My honey. Where are we going?
I don't know, I'm freezing here.
After they freeze you, where will we finally come?
We are going to Praline. Collect some coconuts. No. Is there a lot of coconuts? Sorry.
Here? No, tell me.
9:50, да?
Нас здесь решили заморозить. Ужасно холодно. Путешествие на лодке не была такая великая идея, хорошая. Весь корабль с пакетом себе. Пересели наверх, чтобы было потеплее. Все вокруг. И даже я взяла себе пакет. Пока не использую. Добрались мы до отеля. Боже, вот это путешествие, катастрофа. На этой лодке всем стало плохо, каждому человеку стало плохо. Но не все воспользовались пакетами. Но лица у всех были такие, как будто бы вот с минуты на минуту придется воспользоваться пакетом. Я тоже крепилась до последнего. Ну, вернее, выдержала. Уже спрошу, когда уже мы приедем, этого мальчика. Он говорит, через 5 минут. Вот, а теперь мы в отеле. Такая красота вокруг. You're fast back. Busy. Thank you. Вот, сейчас мы ждем чекина, а потом начнем свое не путешествие, а отдых. Наконец-то отдых. Это был ужасная дорога. В смысле, сам самолет был отличный. Я спала от взлета до посадки. И пропустила и еду, и вино, и все на свете. Но эта лодка была ужасна.
Really?
Really?
Like coconut milk.
No, coconut,
Well,
yes.
that's the
With a funny shape, I would say. Валерия Чумоход. Мы спали и все проспали. Нет, почти проспали. Мы приехали уже как... Вот как раз мы приехали, у них кончился завтрак. Они говорят, ну мы сервируем завтрак где-то последняя возможность прийти в 9:30. Вот как раз мы приехали в 9:30. А сейчас обед до 3. И мы проснулись в 2:57. Вот, и поэтому мы как побежали. Как побежали. И прибежали, все еще успели на обед, к счастью. В другом случае нам бы только пришлось ждать до 7, до ужина. Вот. Теперь у нас предстоит нам, мои волосы, предстоит нам обед с таким красивым видом. Там тут сгорает, лежит. Выбор на обед не очень большой. В общем, это будет пиво и бургеры. Или бургеры и пиво. Как-то так.
Strawberry daiquiri?
Yes.
One strawberry daiquiri.
Мой мужчина заказывает напитки. Не вылезай из бассейна.
I'll just have a mojito. Mojito? Is okay? Thank you.
Well done. What?
Before we go, quick check, everybody's happy with their shoes, everybody's got water, and does anybody have any health conditions that needs to know about? Asthmas, heart issues, anything that
Мы сегодня отправляемся в путешествие на гору какую-то, неважно, которая за нашим отелем. Нам сказали, мы будем идти 3 часа туда и обратно. Да?
Да.
Ну, мы готовы.
under the Solia, under these rocks, that is where the river that runs through the hotel between the restaurant and the lounge goes. It's called Frigate Island. It's a privately owned island owned by a very wealthy German family. Very, very beautiful island, but very expensive. More interestingly, between these two tall trees, you can see where the white waves are. There are rocks there. Those rocks are called roche caïman. Caïman is an old word for crocodile. Seychelles used to have saltwater crocodiles. Like in northern Australia or Papua New Guinea, they're big, they were aggressive, so they were competition to man. They were never very large numbers, but they were here. And man obviously didn't want them, so they hunted them. The last one was killed in La Digue in about 1903. Just break the leaf and smell it. Break it and smell it. Many people from Turkey up here,
Okay.
so there we go. Okay. Because sometimes when we're walking, people get tired, or it's raining, and we come and hide here. So it's just a little stopover, and we can see the view and relax. You know, the thing about Seychelles, and it's unfortunate because often in the marketing, Seychelles, all they speak about is beach and sea and hotels and beach and sea. They don't really speak about nature that much, you know. And a lot of people aren't aware of this. And this is the real riches of the Seychelles, is this unspoiled nature. A big barrel of boiling water, and it would boil for days. And eventually the heart of the wood gives off a red dye, and it changes the water color to a reddish brown. And that then, they take out the wood, and then they keep boiling it to lessen the water and make the color more intense, and was used for dyeing clothes, for painting walls, painting floors, That was our paint. And you know, the thing is, they used to do that in Europe, all over. But when you say long ago, it's 200 years, 300 years ago. But this is 30, 40 years ago. Takamaka is an indigenous tree, so it's found naturally in the Seychelles, but it's also found in other islands in the Indian Ocean, as well as east coast of Africa, Sri Lanka, southern India. Its claim to fame is that it's probably historically one of the most important timber wood trees in the Seychelles. We can use the wood for everything. Building boats, building houses, building furniture, building coffins, you name it, you can use it.
Прошел уже, наверное, час. Мы все еще поднимаемся, все в пути. Варелья уже вся вспотела. 33 пота сошло. Тут еще влажно. И не знаю, это от влажности я мокрая такая или от усилий. Зато мы услышали 33 полезных историй. My baby, are you sweaty? Vanilla stories. И все остальные. Вот. Очень познавательное и увлекательное путешествие. Еще совмещенное с физической нагрузкой. Вот, но мы уже почти на верхушке. Почти. Спускаться всегда тяжелее даже, чем подниматься. Вот.
So if we add all our ages up together, you probably get to her age. She's an old girl. Okay, Jane has a problem, and that is, firstly, where she is, it's tough. Life is not easy here. There's hard soil, no water. She relies totally on rain to give her water. The real issue though with her is, let me first start. So this would be a bunch of flowers for Jane. This is the actual flower. So this is the actual flower. It doesn't open like petals. That's the flower. There's just a little bit of a stamen or filament that sticks out, and there's a bit of a sap that runs out. The male tree, because the male and the female are separate, is too far away. So you do not get the pollination from the male to the female. So what happens is, usually in life, is the male and the female tree are close together. The bees, the moths, the geckos, the butterflies, the slugs, everything move from tree to tree. The male tree has a scent that attracts them, and the female tree has a scent that attracts them, and so they come from one tree to the other and they pollinate the flower. The problem is the male tree here is too far away, and that is a problem. So she often gets flowers like this. They're ready for pollination, but nothing happens. And that is a big problem. There's one that's growing down there. This would be a son or a daughter from this tree, because this has been growing there for many years. There's two that I have planted there about 10 years, 12 years ago, and they're growing over there. So maybe we can get now a male tree, and then, you know, they can have a party. But the problem is, this nature trail goes nicely past the tree. The tree is nice and low. So whenever we get a successful pollination, because we do, every year you have 5 or 6 that get pollinated, people steal them. The first 2 years, from pollination to a mature nut, it's 7 years. So the first 2 years, you can eat it. It's like a jelly. It's like a thick jelly. If you take it out, it looks like the heart of an ox almost. We have the edge of the world.
Edge of the world. Мы забрались наконец-то на вершину.
So have a seat, relax, enjoy the view. We are the champions, my friends. If you look on the left, you can see La Digue.
There are no sharks here, right?
Yeah, very few.
Very
few sharks.
I don't like this answer.
Sea level was high, there were sharks here, but no, not now. In the sea, of course, there are sharks, madam.
Yeah.
But not to worry about.
Yeah.
It's like worrying about, you know, accidents in motor cars. People have accidents in motor cars, but you don't worry about that every time you get into a car.
Well, I do. Там вот виднеется лядик, остров. Куда мы поедем завтра? Путешествие. Очень недалеко.
Lost on the way back. Yes.
The video.
Except obviously for the
video.
coconut.
Thought of or recognized as the one that gives the world's best palm heart salad. You've heard of palm heart salad? Palm Herzen salade? Or millionaire salad? Or heart of palm salad? So the sad truth is, to get the salad, you chop down the whole tree.
Oh.
The top section, that green trunk, you open up and then you get to what they call the heart. But what the heart actually is it's the young undeveloped leaves. And in a tree like this that's about 35 years old, you may be going to get 3-4 kilograms of salad. It then gets sliced like a salad. And is it nice? Yes, it's quite nice.
Does
But
it work?
is it worth it to
Is
cut
it
down a
worth-
tree?
yeah.
That's the question. You hear the sound, there's a leaf behind you there, you can feel it. It feels very much like a plastic.
Yes.
And this is called Latanian feuille. And this is the thatching palm that we used to use for building our houses, building our roofs, everything. It's very, very durable. How you would do it is, you go into the forest like this. On every palm, when they're young like this, you take maybe 1 leaf, maximum 2 leaves. So you don't want it to harm the tree, you want it to keep growing. It must be when the leaves are small. This is about the biggest leaf you will use. Once they become trees, there you see the trees, you don't use the leaves. Even if you could get them, you wouldn't use them because they're too thin, they tear. When they're younger, they're thicker. And this is when you use them. So you'd come into the forest, you'd cut the leaf, you then carry it down to the plantation house or where you're going to use it. You lay it open to dry. Once they dry, you then stack them onto your roof, or you make big sort of rafts with them, and that gets lifted up for your walls of your house. Long ago, this is what we used for building our houses. This, the coconut palm, and the bois rouge. Those were the main things we used for building our houses. And the funny thing is, long ago, the poor people used this. The rich people used the corrugated iron, velvet.
Вот эти шипы у них нам только что сказали от черепах, чтобы черепахи не ели. Но уже, правда, нету больше черепах на этом острове. Но уже эти шипы остались.
Used for, it's from Africa originally, is for making rope, making bags, making ropes, making carpets. How it is done is this grows, sisal, yeah, this grows to about 2 meters long. You then cut the leaf. They then take a stick and they sharpen it so it's like a triangle. And they put it across and then they rub. They rub the leaf up and down. And what that does is it takes off all the fibers. It takes off all the flesh and leaves the fibers. And those, I'll do it with my knife, but sometimes it's too sharp, but you can see the idea. What it does is it exposes all these fibers, and those then get woven into rope, into carpets, into all these type of things. And it's an exceptionally strong fiber. It's, if you feel it, it's one of the strongest natural fibers. You know, they make, obviously, from a lot of things, they make bags and things, but this is one of the best. It's very, very strong. Pass it around so everybody can feel a bit, but it's very, very strong. Cashew, this is it. So how it grows,
Cashew.
I don't know if I can see one on the floor, but it's interesting. It grows like what looks like an apple, and then the nut is actually at the bottom of the apple. It sticks out, and you wait for the apple to get ripe, and then you break the nut off, and then that then gets roasted. You break open the nut, gets roasted, and then salt and that you eat it. You can't eat the nut raw. If you eat it raw, it's poisonous. It must be cooked. You need a heat to break up the poison proteins. The problem with it is it's very time consuming to do it, and that's why it's expensive. From what looks like the fruit, the apple, it's actually a modified stem. And if you cut it, it smells like peaches and apricots. It's got a beautiful smell. But you can make it alcohol from that. They make an alcohol from that.